All right, all right, all right. Another episode of Tequila Talk Compadres. This is Eric, the engineer, here with Ed, El Chino Cochino, Beast from the East, coming to us from Jacksonville, Florida. And me, I'm still here in Dallas, Texas. So no beach here, but at least somebody can enjoy something out there. So
enjoy the weather, bro. It's perfect 85 degrees out here.
85 with 100% humidity, so it's still about the same as here.
65% humidity, sir.
Oh, you're lucky man right now. Wait till the rain season. But all right. So we got another. Right now we're down to 2 because of all this Corona stuff. We actually had a little incident where everybody had to isolate, and well, we're trying to be safe. We're trying to go and not spread the Corona love, the COVID baby. So now it's just me and Ed, and me and my tequila, because I got to keep our tradition going. I had to throw it back to some Sauza. We did have this one before. It's good, so if you find something you like, why not do it again?
Well, you know what? I had to break mold today because I didn't have any tequila on time, but I got a little bit of whiskey. I got a little bit of TX whiskey on tap. So that's the shot I'm taking for you guys tonight.
Yeah.
I already had quite a bit.
Is there any TX whiskey out there in Florida? I think it's
what? I haven't been to the liquor store. I just went to the beer store to get some today, but
I don't think so. Though,
I'm pretty sure they do. I'm pretty sure they do. It's a nationwide brand.
Oh, okay. Well, let's have the first shot then, man. Ready?
There you go, mi amigo. Ooh. That's delicious stuff.
Wow, I remember the salsa being a little more smoother, but it has a little kick to it. It's a nice tequila. Actually, even that Texas whiskey is pretty good. I like that one too. Yeah. And
I know it's tequila talk, but that TX whiskey, for those that are whiskey lovers, it's probably one of the smoother whiskeys out there. That you can find at a reasonable price. If you like old fashions, if you like different stuff, man, that's a pretty good whiskey. But I prefer it straight on the rocks, or just doesn't really matter. It goes down pretty smooth. It goes down really smooth, kind of like what I call it, the Don Julio of whiskeys. It's really smooth, really good, but a little bit cheaper than definitely the Don Julio.
Yeah. This one's on the mid price range too, and actually, I like to sip tequila, but also like whiskey, and that's one of the ones I like, the TX whiskey. Yeah, that's good. So let's go on to our first subject today, or topic.
All right, so to continue on that tequila, I'm a rep now that I'm in Jacksonville. This Jacksonville brewed beer is called the Raging Blonde.
Right.
It's an IPA, it's an IPA, and it's pretty good. It's an IPA without the bitterness.
Yeah, that's what I guess that's what I don't like about IPAs. They got that little aftertaste I don't like. But
this one doesn't have that aftertaste. And then next week, I'm gonna bring another beer. It's called the Shandy. I call it the Shady Lady, but I'll speak about it next week. But this one's pretty good. I don't like IPAs generally because it's very hoppy, but this one's hoppy without the bitterness. That's all I can say.
Oh, nice. So like, is that like a local beer or?
Yeah, it's a local beer, man. It's a straight Jacksonville, Florida beer. It's been brewed here. It's one of the local beers.
Oh, nice. Well, I'm repping a local beer here in Dallas, Texas, called the Plutonium 239, and it has a little coconut aftertaste. It's a coconut porter. That was pretty good. From a man.
Oh no, it's delicious. Don't say it's good. It's fucking delicious.
It is delicious. It's delicious. Yes,
it is delicious.
Man, that's why I had to let me get one of these. And it does have a little kick. You got to be careful with it because 6.2 alcohol volume. How much is that one on the one you're drinking?
5.2, man. 5.2.
That's still pretty strong. Yeah, that's pretty strong.
It's pretty strong. It's my third one already. But I can tell you about that particular one, that Plutonium. It is by far my favorite beer.
Yeah,
if you're a coffee drinker and you like, and if you want to substitute your coffee for a beer in the morning, that's definitely the way.
Yeah, that'll wake you up, or you go back to sleep. Yeah. All right. So first topic. One of the things in this whole pandemic stuff, that we all seem to be doing lately is watching movies or series. And I remember back in the day, I was a big movie buff. I like to watch movies, and now, since like I think now there's a lot of really high quality series to the point where I kind of rather watch a series, let the story build up, like now when I watch a movie, it seems like the whole story went by really quick. Unless certain movies are great, but like it seems like a series can really explore a lot of things, And that's what they like, movies versus series. What are some people? I know some people don't like series because it drags on too long, and they still like just movies. But what do you think, man? What are you, more of a movie or series kind of guy?
Man, I have to admit, I am definitely by far a movie guy. Even though I enjoy the occasional series that I enjoy, but I feel that all the action, all the emotion that can be put in an hour and a half to 2 hours span, it's really stretched out throughout a 10-part series or a 9-part series, and I just don't get the same emotion from a movie versus a series. I hands down, I'd rather watch 4 or 5 different movies in a row than to watch a series. But generally speaking, like, don't get me wrong, like anybody else, I have a couple of series I love to watch, but movies in general are the way I roll.
Yeah, that's good. Like, me, I guess I'm kind of the other way. And I get it. The only thing I don't like about some series or even like shows and things is when they start having all these like kind of like filler episodes, where they just try to drag on the story or make it longer. But I like a good series that can like, like I like one like what was one like The Strain I saw, or like one. I mean, I didn't like the last season, but some of them were, it's not a series that's like they start it to where they don't expect when they're gonna end. They kind of see how long it stays popular and they just keep going. Like The Walking Dead, man, I loved it from the beginning, but now I just feel like it dragged on so long and they changed it from its original story and content and started making up stuff that like I don't even watch it no more. But
bro, I think you like the first season, and I remember us watching that first season.
Yeah,
like we chowed down for like a whole fucking day. It just like
I remember that day, man. You remember where we were gonna go? Me, you, and Tony, man. We were gonna go out.
No, an Oscar.
An Oscar, yeah. And then we were supposed to go out to the club that night. We're gonna go out party.
It was awesome.
We're gonna go out party and go to the club that night, and then and it was 8:00. And we said, hey, look, I'm going to start watching the series I kept hearing about. Just let's watch one episode and then before we go. But it was still too early to go out. And we watched that one episode. Hey, put the next one. We ended up just watching the whole series till like 3 a.m. and we didn't even go out.
Yeah. It's an awesome series. Like, there's some series that definitely drag it out. But I feel that in general, series are there to squeeze the money out of, out of marketing. Whereas movies, man, you got a very short window. Hour and a half to 2 hours. And for me, movies versus series is more of a character development.
Yeah.
In a movie, you have to be very strategic in the way you're able to develop a character and be able to, like attract the audience and get it going, and and it's a real quick miss or
hit or miss
or win. Yeah. So where series, you can fuck up the first season. I mean, the first episode, maybe the second episode, you have a chance to catch up and like build with it. But whereas a movie, I prefer a movie because I feel like I get more entertained by like having a full story closed or a chapter, a whole thing closed in a matter of like a 2 hour period.
Yeah, it used to be that way, but now I'm more serious. Like a good series that can slowly develop the story and like really build the characters, like you said, and really have a good story, and not feel like it's. I don't like series that they put a lot of filler, just try to drag a story out. Like they say, okay, this series is going to be 2 seasons. The series I usually like, they're not more than like 3 or 4 seasons. After that, like even when I see a series that's like 7 seasons, 8 seasons, like it really doesn't draw my attention. But like when you get like about 2, 3, 4 seasons where they have a story they want to put out and they want to be able to really put it and explain it, I like those. Those are the ones I like.
Well, give me your top 3. Which were your top 3 series and best your top 3 movies like that you would watch currently?
The series? Let's see, man.
Series. Your favorite series.
Man, like one of the ones that Dark, like on Netflix. The Dark. It was like this back in time type of thing. Man, it was 3 seasons.
The Russian one, right? That's the Russian series.
From Germany. That was pretty good. That one. And then, man, there's some other, I can't think of that. I'm blanking out. But you know, like actually, The Walking Dead to like about the fifth, sixth season was great. But I think they should have closed that one. And then, man, I even like anime. Like one of my favorite ones was like Death Note, and like when they have an anime that's like can close. Like that one was it 2 or 3 seasons? No, that's a 2. Man, that was good because it had a lot of like a good story. I like The Strain. That one that was like kind of like it was I think it
Yeah, I
was on
watched
FX.
that one.
That was good to the last season, kind of. But those first 2 seasons, man, I loved it. Those are probably one of the ones I can think of right now. What about you in
All right,
movies?
so-
What kind of movies? What are you in the top movies?
I mean, for me, on my series, you forgot you told me 3 movies, and you went to me the 3 series. Tell me your top 3 movies, then I go over. Well, let me go over the top 3 series for me.
Okay,
Like
yeah.
number 1, the Narcos. Like I can never get enough of Narcos. Like as soon as it comes out, 6 o'clock, that whole day. As soon as 6 o'clock in the morning comes on, I am like dead to the world. That Thursday morning.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm
That was good
watching-
too. Yeah.
and, like that's the one. Like I just love the whole narco world shit. That's my thing. The second one, surprisingly, man, is Daredevil. I think it's like the
Oh, yeah, that
action,
one too, yeah.
acting,
Yeah.
like that one's just like super sick. It's just like fucking awesome.
The fighting scenes are like some of the best, like in anything I've seen,
Yes.
man. It's like so realistic. It makes you feel like, to me, it seems so realistic. You know, I'm not a freaking professional fighter, but man, I just watching it. Sometimes I had to take a break because I felt tired. Like, man, I need like a breather. Like, man, this guy is really getting his ass kicked, but he's still on there. And man, yeah. Okay.
It's just realistic. Like
Man,
you don't go into
that
a fight
choreography,
and
like,
get your ass beat.
and then he don't have superhuman strength. He's not breaking through walls. Man, it almost looks like someone could actually do it if they had like incredible endurance.
Yes, and that's what I like about that movie. I mean, that series in
Yeah.
general is like there's every episode you have a very well choreographed, very well written out plot for the Daredevil. So that's one of the ones that I really enjoyed. And then the last one, man, is Game of Thrones, man. Like that's gotta be my I don't know, those 3. Game of Thrones, Narcos, and Daredevil. Those.
Oh yeah, Game of Thrones too. I forgot about them. Yeah, they're great to the last season.
Except for the last like 5 episodes of the last season. Like everything else behind it, man, I loved. Like it's
That's
real
one of
life.
those you had to like really drag. You can't. There's no way you can make a movie of that. There had to be seasons.
You can't. No, you can't. But I love the fact that it sticks to realism. You can be the best guy ever, like Ned Stark, and just make the one bad choice and fuck up your life. You know?
Yeah, that was a great freaking series. Man. The way it started, dude, like all the main characters, you thought, okay, this guy, okay, I know who the main character, and boom, chop off his head, like, holy shit. But like, he just got real.
Like the first 4 seasons was all about that. Like you couldn't get attached to no one because you never knew what was going on. But that's real life, man. You know, and it's so the way it's sentimental because, you know, when you go through life, you don't count on people who are gonna die out of nowhere. You know, my grandfather passed away or he got murdered. You know, and I was like 14. It's like, you know, I expected my grandpa to, you know, reach a long age, but it's one of those things where it's realistic. You made one bad choice, and it shows you the outcome of it.
Yeah.
So
real life.
except for the last like 4 episodes where you just went like totally buck wild.
Yeah.
So those are my top 3. What about your top 3 movies?
Movies? The Matrix. Gotta be The Matrix, man. That's my favorite movie, dude. And actually, I like the second and third one. I mean, it's not as great as the first one, but I mean, it was they were good. I liked them good. They were good. And then The Dark Knight. Oh man, you know, The Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, the second one of my favorite ones, the movies. Let's see, and then the third one would be let's see. I'm thinking about a good comedy. What I would watch. Man, can't think now. Man, I think I had a little bit too much of this tequila. Here, you go with your 3. Let me think about my third.
Well, when you think about it, I'm gonna tell you my 3.
Yeah.
So number 1, man, it has to be Gladiator, bro. Like Russell Crowe, Roman history. I mean, like talking about, you know, great acting, great action. You know, it's probably my favorite movie of all time. Like, if I'm anywhere around TV and the movie comes on, I gotta sit my ass down and watch that movie. Gladiator.
I go with that.
The second one, man, hard to believe, but I mean, most people are kind of like 50-50, is Superman, Man of Steel. You know, like
That's one of my favorite Superman movies. Yeah, that one was good. That one
a lot of people don't like it because he kills somebody, but just be
that's even real. Like he had another way.
Superman's a killer, bro. Like Superman's a killer, but you know he ain't a killer, but to push him.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking exactly. Yeah,
Superman, like bro, that and the other one, man. Oh, dude, Braveheart. You know,
Braveheart.
like
John
Wallace. Like you know, he killed. You know, his father was killed, and you know he got. You know, he tries to make love. You know, build a family, and then you know they killed his wife, and you know it's partially based on history. I think those three movies, dude, are like you know, I love those movies. Those I think those are great genres. Just you know, two, you know, somewhat realistic, and then one like completely out of the blue sci-fi. You know,
yeah. Yeah, and all those are like a little bit over 2-hour movies, right? Except maybe The Matrix.
Oh yeah, by far.
Yeah.
Braveheart is at least like 3 hours.
I know which was my third one. Pineapple Express. Oh man, I love that movie.
Wait, I haven't even seen it, bro.
What?
Really, it's that good.
Man, you gotta watch it, dude. How you not seen Pineapple Express? That's like one of my favorite movies. Oh man, you know I like movies. I like when it's like it's to like just some kind of event that happened. Like something happened, or this person had a certain event and they made a movie out of that, where it doesn't have to be that deep or that long. They could be really great, and they build on that. Like Pineapple Express, oh, I love that movie. You know, like those kind of comedies and stuff. And like The Dark Knight, I like, but it was a trilogy. You know, I think a lot of movies I like are more like trilogies. You know, like Lord of the Rings and things like that. I like movies, but like I guess. Like I'm a sci-fi guy, so in sci-fi usually they have to build a world, and then something happens, and it takes a lot longer. So maybe the series I mostly watch is kind of sci-fi, so maybe that's why it takes longer to explain the story. But like if you have like certain like Gladiators, like an event, like Pineapple Express, something happened to a guy, you gotta watch that movie. Like this,
I gotta watch it. It's
Super bad, something like that. Those kind of like. Certain type of event movies. Those are good. I just hate movies.
Is it better than Superbad? Is it better than McLovin? Like, what up, gangsters?
To me, yeah, I like it better than Superbad. I was gonna say Superbad is one of my favorite ones too, but I'll take Pineapple Express over that one. So,
okay, that's probably one of my favorite comedies. Superbad is pretty legit, man. That's a pretty good movie.
Yeah, but I think it's like it just depends, I guess. What the genre is, right?
Yeah. Well, not necessarily, because for me, those three movies that I watch are like I mean, I watch that movie, all those three movies at least once a month. Like I mean, Man of Steel, Gladiator, and fucking Braveheart. I mean, it's just one of those staples where I'll sit down and just enjoy watching, that movie itself. I think they're fucking great.
That's one other thing too. Like I know there's like people that like like my wife. She loves to rewatch movies, right? And me, I'm more of a... I can't, like, pick a movie I've already seen, Like me, I always, like, try to find something new. And yet, when she's watching something that I like, I'll rewatch the whole thing with her, If it's on, I'm like, like, some people are like that. But, like, in my niece, too, she tells me, like, well, why am I going to pick a movie that I might not even like? I'm going to watch something I already know I like. I'm like, well, you got to point to that. But, me, I always like picking something new. So are you like a rewatcher or like new things or like in between?
No, typically when it comes to movies and series, I don't like to watch the same thing over and over. Like I typically don't watch the same movie more than once, maybe twice.
Just your phase.
But there are some titles.
Yeah, I mean some phase that I'll watch.
Like John Wick, The Matrix, the three that I mentioned earlier that are my favorite, and maybe like one more movie. So I got like 5 or 6 titles that I would definitely rewatch. But typically a movie, if I watch it once, I probably will never see it again.
Yeah, but now I've seen some movies that like from when I was a kid, or like I used to love it, like back in the day. Like my wife never seen Back to the Future, right? So like that's a classic. You gotta watch that, and I enjoyed it, man. We watched all 3 of them again, and like okay, yeah. It's like so.
Oh, you know what's another good one, man? Ninja Turtles. The first one, the second one.
Yeah, Secret of the Use. I started watching that. Just it happened to be on Netflix. I mean, on Hulu, I think. I
Yeah.
started putting it on, like, remind me when I was a kid. Like, yeah. So I mean, I think it's cool to watch like old movies. And like one of the movies I used to love, like I think it was back from middle school to high school, when Mortal Kombat came out, and I rewatched it. I rewatched it, and I was like, it's kind of corny and cheesy, but but I didn't, they kind of love different point of view when you're growing up, but I still love it, still badass.
It's corny, but yeah, but typically there's very few movies that I watch twice, except for my top 5, 6 titles that I watch. But there are some movies, man, that bring nostalgia, man, like Mortal Kombat, The Matrix, the Mortal Kombat, even the Street Fighter one. That
yeah.
was one of those,
Yeah, it's one of those, growing up.
Sorry movies.
Yeah, it's one of them trashy B movies. Hey, almost wasn't a B movie. He had Van Damme back when he was in prime, so it was an expensive as movie, but yeah, it's one of them cult classics. Yeah, like,
They are, bro. They are.
Talking about that,
for the most part,
go
series, it's hard for me to watch series twice, man. Once I watch one, man, it's so much. I can't go back and watch another series twice.
Me too. I was the same way until Carla, she's like my wife, she rewatched the Lord of the Rings. I mean Game of Thrones. And I stayed watching with her, like, okay. It's one of the things I wouldn't pick, but if it's on, I would watch it, It's
but you know what? That show is very complex, though, bro.
Yeah, that's some movies, though.
Like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, to get all the points, some movies, I got to give them, even Back to the Future. Like, just little things that you don't notice when you first watch it. But like the mall, how he changed names back when he went back, like little, like if you actually rewatch a movie and it's a good movie that they put a lot of details that aren't obvious, you can rewatch a movie and you pick up things that you didn't even realize were there. So like some movies are like made to be rewatched.
They're like a chess game, man. Like
Inception.
Some of those are like a chess. You gotta be very careful with details.
Like Inception, I could rewatch that one because that one it makes it like that was one of my favorite movies too. Like, yeah, I can rewatch that one.
I still don't get it, bro. I still don't get the fucking Inception. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
That's one of the things, yeah. I love Inception, but yeah, that's one of the things you can't really get at the end. Like, what happened? Is he dreaming? Is not? What the hell? And that's
the movie maybe twice. I think I'm maybe watching it the third time. Try to figure it out.
It's good though. It's good. Talking about that, like I think some movies are great. Like, what was that? With Will Smith with the zombies? I Am Legend.
Yeah,
like,
I haven't watched that more than I think only watched it once. I haven't watched it the second time.
See, I like some movies. This is what kills me. Like, some movies are great up to like 75%, 80% of the movie, and then the ending just sucks. Like they don't explain what happened or something, and that's what pisses me off about movies. Some movies, because I love the movie up to like 3/4 of it, and at the end just sucks. And that's why I like series. Okay, you gotta explain it, but you got a whole series. You better explain something. And I think maybe that's what a little bit. I kind of like the series a little bit more.
Man, but I agree. I think it gives a better chance. But for the general part, I feel that series, for the most part, is trying to milk. It's trying to milk it. That's how
it is. Yeah, a lot of series they just try to milk.
There's very few shows that like knock it out the park. You just like, what, this is it. Let's knock it out. Do very well. And I think for majority, like 95% of it don't do a good job in closing out a series. But let's move on to the next one, man. What you got next?
Yeah. Well, one thing about that was, what do you think about, so like old comedies that are being changed into a dramatic series? Like, I heard about the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. It's a comedy, right? Back in the day, it was cool, and now they're gonna remake it, but it's gonna be dramatic. You think that's a good idea?
Man, you know what? I don't. They got that one. They got the Saved by the Bell. I think there's a couple of other series that they're being redone. You know what, man? Don't beat an old horse to death. Just let it be. It was a great series. It was great stuff. Be original. Come with your own shit. That's the way I feel about that stuff.
Yeah, I can agree. But like one of the things I liked, like the Power Rangers back in the day, right? They had I know I was a kid back then. I liked the Power Rangers, and one of the ones I liked was like they had a web series, the Power Rangers, and they had Yeah, they had a web series, and it was like a dark version. Like the Power Rangers, they were growing up, and they were like, this dude was like murdering people, and they were killing them, and I enjoyed it,
Oh
man.
no, man, that was a fan series. That was a
Yeah,
fan
yeah, but it was like a web.
but that was pretty chill, bro.
It was good.
I saw it.
But if they would actually make a series of it, that's why when the movie came out, Power Rangers, I was hoping they were gonna do like a dark version of it, like older, like and that kind of stuff I can go with. Even like Mortal Kombat when they had the web series, I think that was even better than that was even better than the movies. And they were talking about rebooting Mortal Kombat, but making it darker. Even like Batman, with the Christian Nolan, that he remade it. I like the '90s Batman, but he was a little more corny, a little more cheesy. But when they made it darker and like not really like kind of joking, they made it serious.
You mean realistic?
Realistic, yeah.
Realistic,
so
yeah.
It's like you said, it's a hit or miss, So, I mean, I can't see the Fresh Prince as dramatic though. I mean, even though some episodes were like they did touch on some good subjects, like especially with like his like with the uncle and his dad and stuff like that. But as a serious whole series, I don't know. How can you see the Carlton being serious, doing the little Carlton dance?
No, but that's what I mean. Like you gotta be original. If you to make like a new series, you can kind of base it off a little bit of what Fresh Prince used to be, but bring a new character. Bring a new line to something different. Change it to something that for me, something that you grew up with and you saw as a comedy and was comic relief. And of course, man, Fresh Prince had a lot of subjects that were like deep in the heart. Yeah, but you were laughing.
Yeah, you were laughing through it. Right? Yeah.
80-20% of the time you were laughing, and 10% of the time you were like, that's just kind of like a little too close to home, bro. But it made you feel. It made you the feels. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But being the whole time that way.
Now.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make sense to me because a lot of these guys now, a lot of these kids, they can't relate to what we went through back in the day, man. It's a whole new era. It's a whole new generation. They have their own shit going on, bro. I mean, let's be realistic. These kids, I mean, they're going through a lot of shit that we never went through, man. Like the social media, the music, the politics, the fucking all this shit going across, multi-country shit is going on right now. The pandemic. This is something that we never dealt with. All we dealt with was like fucking the internet.
Learning the internet or the dial-up. Man, you got mail.
But you know what? These guys, this new generation, the Z generation, I mean, they're going through a lot, man. Economic turmoil, pandemics, financially. I mean, it's probably some of the worst times to be fucking alive.
Yeah,
but that's what I mean. Like nowadays, it's ridiculous because and I like to consider myself a little bit forward thinker, but a lot of these people like our age, so the 40 to 30-year-olds, millennials, and the X generation, always talking shit about these new generations, but we're the ones that were raising them. Our generation was the one that they raised these kids. So if anybody's fault is, it's on us. We did a shitty ass job as parents raising these kids and preparing them for what's really coming.
Yeah, I think it's because it's hard because even like the millennials, the guys, we're the ones that kind of started with the Generation X too, like with the social media and the tablets and like so when we started having kids, what we do? Stick them in front of a tablet, the phone, whatever, and that's basically what raised them. A lot of them, and I think there's a lot of issues when they have young kids just growing up with all that stuff. And you got to put in parenting too, though, man. And that's a big part of raising these kids now. But I don't know.
No, it's true, bro. Like this parenting, don't blame the kids and the outcome of what's going on now because you had a direct impact in raising these kids. The way this generation came out is a full reflection of your actions that you did to raising these kids.
Let's move on. So, what do you think about rock? You think rock is a dying genre?
I might just say yes, dude. It's almost like rock is oldies. Like, I went to a White Stripes concert almost a year ago, and I mean, have you heard any rock? I mean, last time I checked, from a rock or alternative perspective, was some Linkin Park, 20-year fucking revival. uh, Slipknot, redo of some shit. And yeah, I mean, bro, like I think rock. I haven't heard any new rock bands. Everybody that I heard from like rock alternative is 10+ years old. I mean, as far as it being in the industry.
Yeah, you're right. And even like here in Dallas, there used to be a lot of rock stations. Like right now, I think there's only two that I've heard, and one of them is a classic rock, and then in the other station that I listen to, that's supposed to be more newer rock, is like they still play a lot of classic rock. So like, there's very little new rock that I'm hearing coming out of the mainstream. Like I mean, I'm
I
sure
think
it's still big underground with people who love it, but as a mainstream type of genre, it's really dying. I think.
I mean the last group that I heard that was new to me that I heard that was new was the Toadies. This is back in 2000 and I don't know, like 2000 whatever. It's been a long time since the last time I heard any like legitimate rock.
What's the last one I heard? This new is that I actually like was I want to be the best. What was it from? I forgot the name of the band. But I mean, that's about as new as I can think of. There's not a lot. I mean, and if their new rock song comes out that's actually popping, it usually has a little bit of electronic, like pop type of style in it too. But yeah, as far as like classical, like like the newest ones, like Avenged Sevenfold or something like that, like rock is like really not as big as it used to be no more. And there's a lot of it, I think, is because it's being taken over by hip hop. Hip hop's so big. But if you think about hip hop, it started around the '80s, right?
But
And
even then, if you think about it, hip hop is I don't think it's as popular as it used to be, dude. Like a lot of people are like with 30+ years, millennials and older, don't really enjoy this new hip hop scene.
yeah,
And for me personally, I think rock is um, one of those like great venues to go and see a rock band. Like
oh yeah, one of the classic ones you love. I still love me some classic rock. Yeah, well, not
no,
even
no,
classic,
but like
just our time
going to a
rock.
venue.
Yeah,
Like you go into a concert. Like the last concert I went to was a Gojira concert. I didn't know it was some French or Italian fucking group, and it was fucking great. I mean, you go out there and like fucking, it's a lot of interaction with the fans, but I can't think of any like really new good shit that's hit the scene within the past 5-10 years.
yeah.
I mean, I still listen to like Nirvana, Hoobastank, a little bit of All American Rejects, but Linkin Park. But I can't think of anything like any new bands that just came out. Can you?
New bands? No, not really. Not in the last 5 years. And
No.
and I guess it's tough, man. But like, I guess every genre really has its like time frame. Like even back in the '70s with funk and disco, they don't even lasted that long. And then actually, like rock's probably lasted longer than anybody. If you go back to the '50s, '60s,
Yeah.
and they've been a long. I mean, they started back in the '30s, '40s. Elvis made it popular, even though it was a black guy that started rock, and just Elvis started playing, and then he made it popular, and then it's evolved through all that time. But it seems like now it's finally being like taken over by other genres, like where it's not as popular anymore. Like pop is really was popular. Hip hop probably. Hip hop is 40 years old. Pop's always kind of evolved too. I guess one of the things you gotta evolve or die. I don't know.
I don't know, but I really do miss because I mean I think for the most part, I mean that rock music, man, it's just a fucking like
It's a
headbanger.
workout
You
music,
go
get you
out there.
pumped up, like energy type of music. Yeah, yeah. I love rock. And, like back in the day, all like if I was driving, I basically only had rock stations on. I didn't, but now it's like, I really mix it up now. I don't really put on the rock stations like I used to.
Do you remember back in the day?
There's only one rock station now.
I hate something old, man, but like it was like Nirvana, Linkin Park, Hoobastank, fucking I mean the Toadies. You had Metallica, AC/DC. You had all these bands that were just like rocking, and now I can't think of a good band that came out within the past 10 years.
But I guess it's changed. And then, and like I think like back in the '70s, like you had a certain style of rock, And you could tell the genre, like how rock changed from the 70s to the 80s. The 80s had a different type of style. The 90s, it started the 80s and 90s with the punk rock, the grunge rock, alternative rock. And like it started changing, right? And then you had the heavy metal and then the lighter one, light heavy. And I think it's like just got to the point where how much more can you do with a guitar, drums, and a bass, Like you just only certain, it's like, certain like sports too. Like even like the slam dunk contest in the NBA. How many different kind of dunks can you make? Like you get to a point where you can't. It's hard to make something new to people that are like.
But the same thing with hip hop, bro. Like hip hop's going on for a while and it's still rolling, right?
Well, because hip hop's mixed.
As much as they used to, but it's evolved. And I think that generally, that alternative music or rock music should have evolved as well.
I mean, there's different types of rock, and there's just none that's really mainstream anymore, I think. But
yeah, that's true.
I mean, you gotta evolve or die, I guess. Evolution.
You have to evolve, bro. That's reality. Like you can't be the same dinosaur. You're gonna fucking go become extinct real quick.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. All right, so let's go on to our sip it or spill it. Ready?
All right, here you go. All right. I'm ready to fucking sip it. I'm ready to sip.
Hey, that's a beer though. You gotta sip liquor, man. Where that TX? Where that TX? It's
coming on my phone, bro. It's coming on my phone. I can't sip it right now.
All right. What do you think about the new? Well, it's not that much anyway. It isn't like Kamala Harris for VP. Good choice.
I have to say, man. You know what? Doing some research, man. She's not. All right, so I'm gonna go into a little rant here. I don't want to say a rant.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go for it.
Go for it, man.
I think politics have become a popularity contest.
Yeah.
I think the best people that can represent us in government are not the ones that are currently representing us. I think instead of Kamala, there's this great, I'm not sure if it's a senator or a congresswoman from Hawaii. She's young, she's educated, she's knowledgeable. She like demolished Kamala in a platform in which they were debating. She's like fucking awesome. However, because she didn't play the political game, she's not there. So for me, I don't think we currently have the best alternatives that we could have representing us government-wise, and that's on us. I think in general, as a whole, government is a popularity contest rather than an actual form of us representation, and it's sad because there's a lot of people suffering for now. I mean, if we had the right president with the right credentials that could run a country, I don't think we're in a situation now where there are hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people that are unable to pay the rent, that are unable to survive, that are unable to be viable, and are now out in the streets and, are shed out of luck,
Yeah.
And it's fucking sad. And it's fucking sad that we resort to that, to where we no longer have proper representation. We just voted for the popularity contest. And I don't know how you feel about that.
I think you're right, man. I'm with you 100%, man. Because that's something we were talking about before. Like, how much is the appearance of a politician, how important is that compared to what they actually, represent and back up? And I think a lot of people, like you did research. A lot of people don't do the research. So they kind of just go by what they look like, how they speak. Because since television, it's been more how good they look in camera, how well can they speak. Not so much the content, just the presentation. And that doesn't mean you're a good leader just because you can talk right. And, even Biden and stuff, like, I really wasn't going for him either. But it's like now you always got to pick more like who's a little bit less worse than who you really want to go for. And it's tough because then like the people that like probably are your best leaders, because they can't win that popularity contest, they don't become your leaders. And yeah, it's like... But what can you do? I mean, until something changes, we can't really do anything.
And I think a lot of it has to do with ignorance. There's a lot of people that don't understand. There's a 3-step level, or a level of checks and balances. You got your judicial system, you got your executive system, and you got your executive, judicial, and this one more. I can't fucking think of it. Damn.
Whatever.
But we
legislative. Yeah.
The
Thank God for
president
that
doesn't
though,
have
because if Trump would have really took us under, if it wasn't for all that.
correct, and that's the beauty. That's the beauty about our checks and balances that we have in the United States is that you can't just go out there be a fucking an emperor or a king. You have to be a negotiator within the three levels of government that you have to go through, and that's the beauty of it. But at the same token, it's rough because even though it's 1/3 of authority, you still carry a lot of weight, and people don't understand that. It's like, yeah, they can promise you, the stars and the moons. It's like when you date somebody and you think that that they're great, but you realize there's a lot of fucking faults in them.
Yeah.
That bitch could be crazy. That
Yeah.
dude could be crazy, or he could carry out a dead. There's so many possibilities, and people don't or aren't able to, don't want to, or just don't care to see that the person in front of them which they're voting for or who they want to represent them has a lot of authority over a large group, but yet they don't understand or they don't know what they're actually representing. Just because you vote for them doesn't mean that they're going to actually back you in your beliefs and your saying. They're going to eventually do what's best for them. Because in the Constitution, the way we don't have a true democratic system in which the popular vote wins, it's one of the lines of it's set up to where your representatives, vote for what you should or what you voted for. However, the Constitution says, or don't quote me on this one, but I know part of it is from my history lessons, is they don't trust the masses to make the right choices.
Yeah.
So they have the elected representatives do what they feel is best for the country or for their representative area or for whoever they voted for. So in reality is whoever you vote for doesn't necessarily mean it's going to represent or it could be a mirror image of what we feel is the right choice. So it's one of those things where, man, it's really bumpy road, and I mean, we don't know what's going to happen. I mean, we had Trump for 4 years. I honestly believe we're going to have him for 4 more years because Creepy Joe, I doubt he's going to win, bro.
I don't like him, but Joe, I voted independent last time. But this time, I think I just have to pick the lesser worst evil. I guess I don't know. Bernie Sanders, man, why people didn't go for him?
He would turn us into fucking Venezuela, and I'm
haters. he was, but that's another thing though. Even though, like you said though, it's like they say they don't think that the people can really select the right person. Even the Greeks back in the day that invented democracy, they said that voting really wasn't the way to go because of that. Because a popular guy could take over strong votes and things like that, and it doesn't necessarily mean he's going to be the best person to lead the nation, country, whatever, right? And I remember in college reading about level 5 leader, which is it's like the best type of leader. And I mean, even though like a lot of places they have level 4 leaders, would you say is it the real charismatic, really like high talking guy that can influence people, have people follow him, the real popular guy? But the problem with them is they're really more looking about for themselves. They're looking about what will make them look good. They'll do things that might hurt maybe the company, but make them look better, or might do things and they could improve the company a lot. And
the Barack Obamas, and then the Bill Clintons.
I don't know about that, but yeah, something like that. Like someone like they wanted if they once they leave the company, they want that company to look bad after they leave, so they look better, right? They want to leave it once they leave, they're like, oh, you needed me, that's why you're going down shitty, and then that makes them happy. And then you have the level 5 leaders, where one of their highest quality is like humility, and really like taking blame with everybody, and like really caring about the company. And those, they don't really they're more quieter, but they're the best leaders because they look out for what the company is really needs, and maybe not look as popular to everybody else, but they'll do what's right for the employees. And then they want to see the company grow even after they leave. They want it to get better. So when that mentality, they're like the best leaders. And that's like very rare in a leader now, humility and really caring about hoping that it gets better after they leave instead of their legacy. How good they look after they leave. They want to look like they want to see that they missed them, right? And I mean, look it up. Level 5 leader, man. It's really interesting. And that's people wouldn't vote for that type of person because they're not very charismatic. They're not like a popularity contest winner, you know. And
Because I think that's the issue, man. Because if you just be realistic, I mean, in general, you may be one of the few, but overall, with great power, and it's a Spider-Man fucking
yeah, hey, Spider-Man, that fucking said it beautiful.
that's great responsibility.
Yeah,
But however, with great responsibility can corrupt a lot of things because we have a lot of
you get
power.
corrupted. Yeah,
It's easy to be corrupted, bro, and
Easy.
it's one of those things where I mean, as an individual, as a species, we are selfish as fuck.
yeah, and we have to fight those tendencies, but it's so easy not to. It's so easy just to give into them. And
Correct.
I think a lot of politicians that go into politics really wanting to help people, but once they get into the system, it changes them, and they become that way. It takes a really unique person not to change.
Because as a person of power who can wield power, and especially the more powerful you are, you're able to make decisions and make changes. The more liable you are to have, the plata o plomo, or you have choices like, you can make the right choice, or you can really benefit if you don't make the right choice.
Yeah, that's
If
the thing.
I'll give you the lake house, I'll give you the beach house, and I'll give you, a prominent position once you get out of office. If you make a choice that doesn't affect you, but affects other people that you don't even fucking know. And I
Yeah,
think
that's
where
hard. That's the part. Yeah.
it is really hard, bro, because
Yeah.
you're looking out. I mean, in generally, you're looking for your immediate family. You're looking out for your spouse, for your kids, for your immediate family, and if you're able to benefit from it, great. And if you're gonna fuck over some people you don't even know, you know, fuck it, right?
Yeah, you're right. That's the thing. Like, it's human nature. It's right.
It is, and that's the selfish part. Where that's where being in a power position is it really takes a person of great, of
Humility, man. The
humility.
quality, dude.
Yes,
It's like,
to make the right choice. Because if you make the right choices, you're gonna sacrifice some of your own personal. You're not
yeah,
gonna be in the greatest state ever. You may be like subpar, but you will benefit the masses. And a lot of people, if not most people, are not willing to make that
yeah.
sacrifice.
And because society creates us like that, it creates us to be selfish, to be independent, to like beat the other guy, to get out. Not like sacrifice for everybody. Like, take what you can and do the best for yourself. And it's like, and the people that can really make changes, the rich and powerful, the wealthy, they're in a position where they're benefiting so much from the system. Why would they change it? Why would you want to change it to help somebody you don't know that's poor? Like, so
Yeah.
it's a hard situation.
Yeah, I don't even think of that. It's poor, or people are poor. I think in general, people think that it's out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah,
If
it's
I don't
not
know
affecting me.
hurting,
You're
yeah,
more affected by your neighbor that got a new yacht. That, well, I need a bigger yacht or a private plane than who are people that are just trying to make it the ends meet.
and it's one of those things where, like, me personally, I'd rather enjoy, a good day with the water, a great hike, and enjoy good company rather than living in this lavish places. But not everybody's like that. Everybody has their own, has their own agenda, and if you're willing to give up the welfare of a lot over the welfare of a couple, if you're given that choice, what are you going to choose? And until you're given that choice, nobody really knows what you're going to do.
Yeah. So what? Sip it or spill it?
I spell it, bro. I think there's a lot better candidates out there,
Yeah.
especially with the chick. I don't even know her name, but the girl or female woman from Hawaii
Yeah,
is
they
fucking
corrected
awesome.
yourself.
Check her out. Check her out. Hawaii state or Congress representative.
I needed to do more research, but I guess I'll sip it just because I don't know anyone better. I'm gonna look her up though. Maybe I'll spill it later. All right.
All right.
Next one. We'll just do this one. Last one. We're running out of time. The vegan meat. What do you think about vegan meat? They like the Impossible Whopper, the Beyond Beef at Taco Cabana. There's a lot of places they're having all these portobello burgers. Like, oh, those are good.
Well, two things. One, that it tastes empty. they're really close to the real thing. They're really close. Don't get me wrong, but they're. And the second part is when it comes to. And maybe you've done the research. I know I haven't. But when it comes to the actual calorie consumption and fat and all that other stuff, there's not much of a difference between vegan meat versus regular meat. The way they're prepared in most ways.
Yeah, you're right. You're right on that. Like, really, it's not that much more nutritious most of the time. Some of them maybe the actual like real vegetable ones, especially the ones they sell like the fast food places. They're not that much better. They are better because they're not meat. So like meat takes way more energy, way more waste and everything to create.
Right.
So that on energy, environmental level is better. But as far as health wise, it's a little better. It's the way I say it though. It's just a step in the right direction. It's like electric cars now. Like it's still like they're not environmentally friendly. They're environmentally friendlier. They're a little better. And every step you could take to get a little better is what you need to do to eventually get to a point where it is better. And I'll go for it. I eat a lot of it, and just because I've cut a lot of what meat I eat now, and actually I feel healthier. I can maintain my weight, and I think it's good. Environmentally, less animal cruelty and all that stuff, and it's just a step in the right direction. That's all.
No, it is, and I agree with it.
And some of it tastes pretty good. Some of them is hard to teleport, but you can always tell it.
It's not even about that. It's just, for me, it boils down to this: there's a small gap between real meat versus vegan meat, I'd rather take the real stuff anytime.
It's a small gap between nutrition and but it's a big gap environmentally.
But however, it really boils down to what and where you're buying.
Yeah.
And so do I rather have a fake meat for $10 at Burger King? It's gonna give me almost no nutritional value.
Hey, the 2 for $5, you get for $5 you get 2 Impossible Whoppers.
yeah. Or I can go to Whole Foods and buy fake meat for $10 at a 50% reduction in as far as calorie count and when you're talking about animal cruelty. Then I would say the difference. But it really boils down to what you're buying, where you're buying it, and what it really costs.
That's true.
And really boils down to the ultimate is the quality of what you're buying, not what you're trying to sell versus what it actually gained from it from a health perspective.
Yeah. So it's just, to me, it's a step in the right direction. So I sip it. So what are you?
I spill it. I say the 6 regular meat.
All right. Sip it and spill it.
Sip it. I mean, spill it. Spill it. Spill it.
All right.
Spill it.
Well, I think that's it for us this week. Coming in from Dallas, Texas, and
Jacksonville, Florida.
We'll see you next time. Adios.